This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello, I'm Sarah Donchi. Juliette has the day off today. A nonprofit hired to help keep the streets safe in San Francisco is mourning the loss of their first employee ever killed on the job. And in just the last hour, the district attorney announced murder charges against the suspect. Last week, Joey Alexander was shot and killed outside of the main branch of the San Francisco Library. Alexander worked for Urban Alchemy, which contracts with the city to clean up streets and de-escalate tense situations. Our Lauren Toms spoke with the group's founder, who says the tragedy is not changing their strategy. Lauren?
That's right, Sarah. This was the first time the founder has spoken since the tragedy, and I'm told they've had stabbings and shootings before, but nothing quite like this. Joey Alexander spent 23 years behind bars before finding freedom and purpose on San Francisco streets as a practitioner for Urban Alchemy. For 2 years, he worked outside the main library, checking on unhoused neighbors, deterring violence, and watching for drug use. Last Friday, he was shot during an interaction with a man suspected of using drugs nearby. Urban Alchemy founder Lena Miller says it's the first time in the group's history that a practitioner has been killed on the job.
I think we do go into every interaction thinking the worst can happen. Almost everybody is ready to get back out there and recommit themselves to the work so that Joey's death would not be in vain.
It's a loss that's shaken the organization, but Miller says it's a reality her team never forgets.
We're under no illusions that we won't lose our lives out there. I mean, but people still do it. And I think that's really a testament to who they are.
The public safety group was built on second chances. More than 90% of its practitioners are formerly incarcerated, including Joey, who served years at San Quentin. Miller says that's what makes them uniquely prepared for the streets and gave Joey, like others, a sense of purpose.
You have to learn how to read people. You have to learn how to de-escalate. You have to learn how to have respect for people, because in many ways it is the only currency.
She says she believes Joey was using those skills Friday when he crossed paths with 42-year-old Edmund Bowen, who was suspected of using drugs in the area. Police say Joey confronted Bowen, asking him to stop. Bowen shouted obscenities about Urban Alchemy, then opened fire, hitting Joey, who died days later at a nearby hospital. Bowen was taken into custody by police. District Attorney Brooke Jenkins condemned the violence, saying Bowen is being charged with murder.
Mr. Bowen has now been charged with murder, as well as assault with a firearm and an enhancement of using a firearm during the commission of that murder.
Since 2018, Urban Alchemy has worked to stabilize some of San Francisco's most troubled neighborhoods. But critics have questioned whether the group, funded through city contracts, is being asked to take on policing responsibilities without the same oversight. Miller says her team offers something different: de-escalation through lived experience, not force.
Public safety is indeed relationships. It is eyes on the streets. It is knowing what the rhythms of a community are.
Practitioners like Joey are unarmed, but often carry Narcan to revive people overdosing. And Miller says that won't change. In the wake of Joey's death, she says they're recommitted to their mission.
You can be angry, you can be aggressive, you can be all those things, but in the end, the only one thing that truly trumps all of that is love and respect.
Now, we've also learned that Joey hadn't seen his son since he was released from prison several years ago. I'm told he was set up to reunite with him in just a few weeks from now. The suspected shooter is expected to be arraigned here in San Francisco tomorrow afternoon.
That is just so disappointing that reunion won't happen. I'm sure his family is devastated. Lauren, thanks for the update. The blame game continues in Washington over who is actually responsible for the government shutdown. Republicans are saying they want a clean spending bill, while Democrats want to reverse cuts to Medicare and extend tax cuts to help people pay for health insurance. The shutdown is causing problems for tourists in San Francisco. These people were lined up hoping to take the ferry to Alcatraz, only to find out that the national park was closed. It was supposed to reopen today after being closed for construction yesterday, but when people showed up, they were offered a chance to reschedule, to get a refund, or to take a ferry tour of the bay. Tourists we spoke to weren't happy about waiting in line only to be turned away.
purposely came to San Francisco just to go to Alcatraz, and I got here this morning. My tour was canceled. Now I'm back to try and reschedule for a later date and time.
So as for tomorrow, we really don't know if you're going to be able to get to the island just yet. City Cruises is selling ferry rides to Alcatraz, but the Park Service says that the park is closed. As long as the government is shut down, the Blue Angels will not be able to perform for San Francisco Fleet Week either. That kicks off on Sunday. There will still be an air show with the Canadian Forces Snowbirds. We will keep following all the latest developments on the government shutdown. You can find updates anytime on our website, kpix.com, and as always, streaming on the free CBS News app. All right, turning now to a shift in the weather. Check out this time lapse. This was from our Mount Diablo camera. You could see the clouds rolling through earlier, eventually giving way to some sunnier skies. We saw some lingering showers early this morning, but it's been pretty dry today. I guess, Paul, is the question, are we totally done with the rain now?
There's still a possibility of a couple of stray showers as we head through tonight and tomorrow, and we really didn't expect the volume of rain that we had this morning. Last night we were talking about the potential for a few scattered showers, but instead, Mother Nature was a giving mood. Here's a look at the radar replay from this morning. You see this widespread rain, basically from the bay to the east and south, resulted in a decent amount of rain in a fairly short amount of time, but that has now moved off to the east, and what we're going to see through the rest of tonight is just a couple of spotty little showers here and there. Here are the rainfall amounts that we've picked up since midnight, anywhere from, well, 1/100th of an inch of rain in San Francisco to a few hundredths of an inch of rain in Concord, about a half inch in Hayward, and just short of a half inch of rain in San Jose, and just above a half inch of rain in the Santa Cruz Mountains around Ben Lomond. As we head through the rest of tonight, the showers are going to be very few and far between. Looking off to the east, that's where the rain has continued to push farther and farther away from us. The Sierra is really going to bear the brunt of the majority of the rain as we head through the next 24 hours. We will take a look at the 7-day forecast, including a weekend warm-up, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. A big moment for San Jose. The city has completed a new land deal downtown. Once intended for big tech, now it could become a space for entertainment, sports, even a new luxury hotel. Right now, the roughly 3.5-acre site is just a parking lot. It sits along South Almaden Boulevard, sandwiched between the Convention Center and the Children's Discovery Museum. City leaders are calling it a great investment, but as you might expect, the new deal does have its share of critics questioning the city's plans. Len Ramirez has a closer look.
Well, the city has had its eye on this piece of property for a long time as some sort of hotel or entertainment district because of its proximity right across the street from the downtown convention center. There are no plans to develop this immediately, but when the city saw that it was for sale and the price was right, they swooped in. It may look like just another downtown parking lot, but this stretch of pavement just became San Jose's newest multi-million-dollar investment. The city bought the land right across from the convention center for $13.5 million, hoping to one day turn it into something big, a sports and entertainment venue, maybe even a luxury hotel.
The idea here is that this will give us a little bit more flexibility as we look to expand the convention center in the coming years, potentially stage development across some of the city's existing land holdings, and eventually could hold something like a marquee hotel to support the convention center circuit.
The city got the land for $20 million less than the previous owner paid. That company had planned a massive 2-building tech campus here, but those plans collapsed after the pandemic. Now, with many office towers sitting half empty, the city seems to be pivoting from tech to tourism and entertainment.
It's a huge U-turn, right? 2 million square feet, huge job producing site. Now it's going to stay a parking lot for an indefinite period for a potential expansion of a convention center that the market's not telling you needs to expand.
Bob Stedler is a land use consultant and says the city's move raises bigger questions about San Jose's identity in a post-pandemic world, whether it's chasing the right future.
With empty storefronts and all of the other issues, I don't see how this meets their top 5 priorities.
But one local business says any future is better than the status quo. George Kukar's House of Pizza has been in the neighborhood since 1950. And George says this has been one of the area's slowest periods.
So weekends used to be just thriving downtown until real late at night. Now it seems to die out. Around 10:30, 11 o'clock, there's not much action downtown. And I think anything like that, hotels, people spending the night, being out, That would really help with foot traffic here at the restaurant.
For now, the city says the lot will stay as is while plans for the space evolve. What ends up happening here is still uncertain, but the city's bet is clear, investing in a different kind of downtown.
Still ahead here at 6, a twist in an East Bay homicide case. What we're learning about the homeowner charged with murder months after what police called a break-in at his own home. Plus, we'll meet a breast cancer survivor from Oakland who's now serving the same organization that gave her a lifeline during her own fight. There is a new twist in an East Bay case. Police are charging a homeowner who reported an intruder breaking into his home with murder. Martinez police arrested 31-year-old Kyle Daniels. Daniels told police that an intruder entered his home without permission and attacked him back in March. This happened on Hale Court, right off the border of Martinez and Pleasant Hill. Police say that during the incident, the intruder was seriously injured and later died at the hospital. After a months-long investigation, officers arrested Daniels for murder, but they did not elaborate on why. We asked Martinez police for more information on this. They did not respond. Daniels' first court appearance is scheduled for October 14th. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For 2 decades, a former Oakland school teacher has been cancer-free. Because she was high risk with cancer on both sides of her family, she started mammograms early, but she never imagined being told at age 44 that she had it. Veronica Macias shows us how she's helping other women access care.
When you manage to beat cancer, you become a survivor in this world. And in Ellen Shaler's case, an advocate in pink.
Here is
She's been cancer-free for about 20 years, but it's still a big part of her story. Since being diagnosed in 2005, she's participated in almost every More Than Pink walk for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. All these years later, she vividly remembers the first survivor ceremony after her walk. It's there where she found a community of brave women.
They were calling all the survivors up, and this woman said to me, "Are you coming up, up on the platform?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know if I'm a survivor yet. My radiation starts tomorrow. It's only been 3 months." And she said, "You're coming with me, honey." And she pulled me up on that stage. I was bawling. And
Ellen would go on to win her fight, cancer never defining her, but leaving scars. Not taking any chances, she decided to have a double mastectomy because of the risk of cancer running high in her family. And as her husband had vowed, for better or for worse, he made sure she never lost her optimism or her sense of humor.
I said, I'm not going to have my breasts for my birthday when I turn 46. I'll have had this surgery. And he said, "But you'll have them back for mine in February." So going into my bedroom. But
at home these days, things are quiet in retirement. As she walks down the hall, you can see how tidy her house is kept. In her bedroom is a notebook she kept during those difficult months with cancer. It's right beside all the words of encouragement, which she has been neatly preserving in a keepsake box.
6/30/05 ductal carcinoma in situ. I actually was going to show you this box. I keep all of my fundraising records in here.
It's money the organization says is making a difference when funding from the government seems to be on the chopping block.
Funds to provide services directly to patients who need the care right now. But we also are funding cutting edge research. And we are second only to the US government in funding research. We have provided over $1.1 billion in funds to breast cancer research.
A key part of thriving is the research and doctors, but so is trusting your gut and always advocating for your own health. In her case, doctors initially missed the cancer in her mammogram, and had she not gotten a second opinion, she wouldn't be sharing her story.
I've lost a lot of friends and loved ones, not even always breast cancer, but some kind of cancer.
Telling her story does give her a bit of survivor's guilt.
You know, yeah, of course I'm thankful and I'm grateful, but well, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to raise money for Komen because
contributing to Komen is her way of showing gratitude.
And gets, you know, at least have a fighting chance.
For her second chance at life.
The Susan G. Komen Walk takes place this Sunday at the San Francisco Zoo. The event brings together survivors, families, and supporters to raise money for breast cancer research, patient services, and advocacy. Registration is now open on their website. Coming up, say goodbye to rain for a while. Paul is back with the warm-up for the weekend and when we could eventually see some moisture down the line.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device.
All right, we have a lot of people on our staff who identify as big Swifties, including our reporter Lauren Toms, who was here a little earlier. But millions of Swifties are waiting for the clock to strike midnight, or in our case, 9 p.m., because that is when Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, officially drops. For the occasion, Target will be opening its doors at midnight so fans can grab exclusive copies of the album. And this weekend, for 3 nights only, AMC will premiere the official release party of A Showgirl movie event celebrating the new music. We have when I say Lauren is a Taylor Swift fan,
she's a Swiftie.
Yes, I think that might be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah. So there's Trekkers, the people that are really in. They don't like being called Trekkies.
Okay.
Yeah, the Trekkers.
That's not good. Okay. Noted.
Same. I mean, can we do Swifters? I guess that's pretty close to being like copyrighted by the Broom thing.
I don't want to get any of that wrong, so I'm going to just carefully walk away and congratulate everyone who is a fan on the new music.
Great. I lived in Nashville for 8 years and still completely unqualified to comment on any of that. Let's talk about weather. And the storm system that's been off to our north for the past several days is starting to swing down closer to the Bay Area. See this swirl that's off the coast? That's a little globe of energy that's going to be swinging across the Bay Area and giving us a chance of showers as we head through this evening and tonight, but they're going to be very few and far between. The bulk of the moisture is outlined in purple. That is moving through Northern California and off into Oregon and Idaho. That's going to be dropping more rain and even the potential for a little bit of snow in the highest elevations. So let's look at the statewide radar simulation over the next 24 hours. And what we're going to be seeing is plenty of rain still in Northern California, really putting almost an end to fire season there. A couple of those showers trying to sneak down towards the North Bay. And in the Sierra, a little bit of blue showing up. That indicates the potential for some snow at those highest elevations. Let's just take a look at the snowfall accumulation from Futurecast. And you can see it's outlining an area at the highest elevations. We're talking above 7,000 feet at least of a light dusting of snow, maybe a little bit more than that on some of the highest peaks. It does not mean that we're going to be entering into ski season already, but it's a hopeful sign for those folks who are looking forward to heading up for some skiing eventually once the season rolls around. Let's check out that same radar simulation for just the Bay Area, and we are going to be seeing a couple of radar freckles here and there, a little bit scooting through the North Bay late tonight into early tomorrow morning, maybe a couple more showers trying to run down into Napa and Solano counties tomorrow afternoon. Very few and far between, so we're leaving the raindrops out of the 7-day forecast, but just stash the umbrella in the back seat. It's early October. It's not a bad habit to get into at this point in the season anyway. Looking outside right now, seeing plenty of clouds still over San Francisco, but no drops in the camera lens. Temperatures are in the 60s across the board. An unusually cool day once again, but still an unusually muggy weather pattern. That is going to change starting tomorrow. More refreshing air mass is going to move in just in time for the start of hardly strictly bluegrass. We'll see a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow, plenty of sunshine on Saturday, and a few fair weather clouds on Sunday over Golden Gate Park. Temperatures very pleasant for early October, reaching up into the mid to upper 60s. There should be a few degrees warmer closer to downtown if you have any other plans a little bit closer to that neck of the woods. Let's check out tomorrow's temperature pattern as we head through the day. We're going to be warming up, but still below what's normal for this time of year. Temperatures are going to end up about 4 to 8 degrees below what's typical for early October. So back up to around 70 degrees in San Jose, maybe a little farther into the 70s for Morgan Hill. Same thing east of the Oakland Hills, low to mid 70s. The warmest spot on the map is going to be around Antioch at 75 degrees. Not very warm for early October. A year ago today, we were tracking triple-digit high temperatures inland. This is a little easier to deal with. Temperatures in the 60s closer to the coast, mostly low to mid 70s for the North Bay as well. But we do return to near normal temperatures as we head into the weekend. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and we'll start inland, where high temperatures are going to get back up to around 80 degrees on Saturday, and then kind of hovering within a few degrees on either side of 80 as we finish the weekend and head into the first half of next week. A few more clouds headed our way on Thursday. A week from today, some of the really long-range forecast model data is hinting at another chance of showers, but it's all over the place right now. So we'll add some clouds to the forecast, no raindrops just yet. Bayside temperatures also back to normal, which means low to mid 70s. And at the coast, no big changes in store. Your temperatures are going to stay in the 60s, but even at the coast, you are going to see a nice amount of sunshine as we head through the upcoming weekend and for most of next week, a mix of clouds and sun.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. When we come back, more than a half dozen families scammed out of money for their daughters' quinceañeras. Plus, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
I'm Skylar Henry at North Carolina's Outer Banks, where more than half a dozen of these structures have collapsed due to major hurricane systems. We'll show you how county commissioners are racing against the clock to deal with climate change. That's coming up on the CBS Evening News.
An event planner in San Jose is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from families who are planning quinceañeras. 51-year-old Juan Gaspar runs VIP events. The Santa Clara County DA's office says from 2023 to 2024, at least 7 families hired him to organize their daughter's 15th birthday parties. Then he allegedly didn't pay the vendors, who would sometimes show up to confront the families. Gaspar faces 7 charges of felony grand theft. Investigators are also looking for more potential victims. The CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. We are right back here in 30 minutes with CBS News Bay Area at 7. See you then.